What do you say when you run out of words?
The flash jump and Baker, it's all done, it's all over.
When every story has already been told.
An encore for Guma Yushiona gets it, he gets it! Then he takes it!
What does it mean for a legend to end?
Fighting their way back in game 3, but Guma stands strong!
And when your time is up, when the world remembers your long past prime, what does it mean to say no, to forge ahead on your own terms? The greatest team in League of Legends history wasn't supposed to be here. They were supposed to be done. The greatest player esports has ever seen had nothing left to prove. No trophy left to lift. But he kept on fighting anyway. Because the legend of Faker is only over when he says it is.
And it seems like death may have arrived, and his name is Baker. He stands above it all.
Hey guys, before we dive into our exclusive documentary on this year's incredible League of Legends World Championship, I want to thank our sponsor, Progressive Insurance, for helping us bring it to life. This year, we were able to get into the thick of the action on the ground and bring you the most comprehensive, in-depth coverage of one of the biggest, most exciting esports events out there. All thanks to Progressive. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians, these are things people would likely say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Alright, now let's take a look at one of the most insane worlds in League of Legends history.
After all this time, Valdez, they haven't gotten a win since 2021 when they made it to Worlds, when they were running the LCK.
Look at Showmaker, he knows it's over. D plus Kia, they are going to Worlds, beating T1.
The greatest team of all time wasn't even supposed to be at Worlds.
원래 담원기아전부터 준비했었을 때 엄청 자신감이 차올라 있었어가지고 무조건 이기고 30대로 가겠다라는 마음가짐으로 경기를 임했었는데 지고 나서 엄청난 압박감이 왔었던 것 같고 또 진짜 단도대회치라고
Faker and T1 conquered the world with a heroic performance at Worlds 2023, but in 2024, amid DDoS attacks and other issues, they simply couldn't keep up with dominant rival rosters in Korea.
One last attempt, one last package. He's gonna try to send it owner with the Crescent Guard, keeps it alive. He's desperately trying to stop this one from ending as the GA is going to be utilized. He goes in and annihilates them underneath the tech nexus, and that will do it. Gen.G will take the 3-2 victory. They will win.
It all came to a head in the regional gauntlet. With the last world spot on the line, T1's legendary ZOFGK roster needed desperately to pull it together, and they did.
10 seconds on Barrel. Is that gonna be enough? Perfect, he goes in trying to stall, but the Nexus turrets are falling!
They can't get the angle! They're just trying to do it, T1, they want to go to Worlds, will they be able to? All they gotta do is take down the Nexus, and they will get the job done!
But it was a fraught gauntlet, a narrow victory. Faker went into Worlds with all-time low expectations for the game's all-time greatest player. Just as he had in the twilight of SKT's dynasty, the unkillable Demon King looked mortal. The conversations were inevitable. Faker was getting old. How many more seasons could he really play?
이번에 또 월드 갈 수 있는 기회가 생겨서 저는 되게 감사한 마음이고 그 기회를 좀 잘 살려서 스스로 이제 좀 발전하는 데 잘 쓰고 싶습니다.
But Worlds rarely goes according to plan, and T1 weren't the only team about to push the best competition in the world to its limits.
I mean, really, if you're looking at the historical record of the LCS and of the LEC won Worlds one time in Season 1 before a lot of the regions that are dominating even had a server, and LCS has never won, right? So success at Worlds is definitely few and far between. You know, the big one that people reference for the LCS is 2018 when Cloud9 made semifinals. For the LEC, it's a little bit more recent than that, but really they haven't been having a lot of success at Worlds either for a lot of years.
In 2024, expectations were low for Western teams. Most analysts expected G2 to be the West's best and only hope, an org that tasted greatness in 2019 and had assembled a roster hoping to challenge the best teams in the world once again.
Called in a little bit early. Hansama zoned out. Peanuts ult not hitting. Broken Blades does. Cap, a two-man knock-in is good for G2. Broken Blades wipes it down. It's a big pick. Viper's dead. Delight's dead. And G2 have risen. Now drowsy, asleep. Bedtime for Peanut. G2 with a team fight over LTK's number 1. G2 can't converge quick enough, but the bases are still stopped. Caps is going to get the inhibitor. Humble Life don't feel safe to back just yet. Doran's going to TP to the Nexus turret. That will save the base.
But can they TP Caps in? They want to try and take the 5v5.
Drowsy, it's a one-man onto Peanut. Hansama trying to move into position. Bobbed away. Numbers advantage. Change of corruption. Mickey's is there as Caps is taking the 1v1, but Doran is killing him dead. Humble Life are winning the fight on the top and on the bottom. This Jack's unkillable, and Caps only just surviving, while G2's plan has gone kaput.
Caps tried every trick in the book, but with Yike, the last man standing against the LCK first seed, it's just a wave that is going to wash over the base of G2.
And our longest game now at Worlds for 2024 is Humble Life versus G2 as they move to 2-0.
For me, it's a great sign that we can find good plays, clutch plays against the best team in LCK right now and make it a 45-minute banger. You know, it's a good sign. I'm not saying this is enough for us. We obviously want to beat them. We want to be the best team in the world. And if we are okay with just losing barely against LCK teams, I feel like we will never win. And this is the mindset I don't want my team to have.
But despite an impressive win against Weibo, it wasn't meant to be. After their loss to T1, they faced a brutal draw, losing a heartbreaking series to BLG.
They found the winning mid-team fight, and that might just decide it. Caps locked up the flashback to safety. Caps taken down. Hansama about to fall. Mickey taken out as well. BLG knocking down the last of the LEC as they move on to the bracket stage.
But the West had another champion, one that nobody expected.
Nunu lock. It's a Nunu lock-in.
And he was inspired, was laughing there. So I wonder if this is going to be like a really heavy gank style.
The Nunu. Oh my God! We're rolling again! We're rolling!
All right, Zeka.
What the What's that?
Trying to turn it around back onto Bwippo.
The redemption take coming in here.
No, Bwippo stay alive. The shutdown this time.
It's a young diff!
The Nunu pick caught me completely off guard, and I think it's safe to say it caught the other team off guard as well, because when I saw Doran try to TP out and he was like, oh, there's no snowball, I'm fine, and then watch him just get stuck by the root afterwards, I was like, oh man, he doesn't know how this goes.
When a strong Swiss stage showing earned FlyQuest a best of 3 against HLE, Korea's #1 seed, no one expected them to have a chance. But Fly had an ace up their sleeve going into the series. They were pushing the meta to its limit on a patch that no one in the world had figured out just yet.
There were a massive amount of changes coming in from Summer to Worlds, and I think the most prevalent one was the mid lane matchups. The fact that all these AD carries got taken out thanks to, free footwork getting nerfed, Blade of the Rune King getting reworked, I think it made the game a much slower pace, but also much more focused on how do we approach early skirmishes and team fights and objective setups. So a lot of the pressures that you might have been able to have through side lane in the mid game suddenly disappear because you don't have an AD carry that can obliterate a tower like Tristana.
The kind of long and short of it is that we weren't very happy with the playoffs meta. There was a lot of AD carries mid, the games were very slow, and we thought if this goes into Worlds, it's going to be kind of a disaster. So we definitely felt like we needed to take some drastic measures.
The Worlds patch was massive, one of the biggest Riot had ever implemented prior to the tournament. For every team heading to Berlin, it meant changing the strategies that helped them win domestically. And another team, famous for their razor-sharp meta reads, was exploring how far they could push the changes.
Would you say that this is one of the biggest patches that Riot has made going into the World Championship? 이번이 가장 큰 거죠. 많은 팀들에게 이제 또 영향이 많이 갈 거라고 생각하고요. 그리고 올해 특히 좀 많이 이제 패치를 많이 했기 때문에 좀 그게 좀 큰 것 같습니다.
But midway through the Swiss stage, even T1 hadn't manufactured their signature draft wizardry. As the rest of the world settled into what they thought was the meta, FlyQuest seemed almost a step ahead, confident in experimentation thanks to their experienced leaders and deep champion pools.
We just have a wide champion pool, especially Whippo and I guess Inspired too. They each have their creative counter picks to just the meta champs. Even if we don't practice them a lot, the coaches trust them to first or second time a champ on stage. And also just as a team, we have a more creative outlook on the game and we're very open-minded.
Gen.G came into Worlds as the LCK's second seed. But this was more than a powerful team. They were expected to dismantle FlyQuest. All the hopium in the world didn't make the feat before Fly seem any more achievable.
I was feeling devastation when I saw the draw. I mean, it was heartbreak because honestly, after they pushed HLE really to the limit, I mean, game 3 was not close, but game 1 was honestly one team fight away from that series potentially being a 2-0 over the #1 LCK seed. So you have to have hope then going into quarters. And I was sitting there and I'm watching the draw with other LCS casters and we're all saying, as long as it's not Gen.G, we've got a shot. We've got a shot. As long as it's not Gen.G, just please not Gen.G. And then of course we get Gen.G and it's just like, no.
The quarterfinals for Gen.G is going to be so important. I know it's against Fly, they're expected to win, but how they win, I think means so much.
I mean, they're good, they play clean, they don't make many mistakes, but also I don't feel like they punish a lot. Just from my experience, the Korean teams, they're just very methodical, and if you can out-team fight them, then you can win. I mean, their macro is really solid, but in terms of the game being unwinnable, it's never like that.
But another Seraphine ulti flies out, and Chovy drops dead. Keen pushes forward, and finally claims Busio, but it's only a 1-for-1. Game number 1 is about to end as FlyQuest lead the series. He continues leading the charge, and Chovy's dominating. Another dredge line misses, but it won't matter. Quad and Masu trying to stay alive, but a step outside of the fountain steps is certain death. Gen.G clear the Nexus turrets. FlyQuest head back into their base. It's a tied series. The FlyQuest squad just trying to buy a little bit of time to secure the Baron, but Whippo might die. Quad going in for lightning crash. Gen.G are dying. FlyQuest have already killed everybody. FlyQuest will push Gen.G to the absolute limit.
Up 2-1 against the best team in the world, FlyQuest were on the brink of history. But it wasn't a day for history.
Masu and Inspired trying with everything they've got to defend the last 2 Nexus turrets, but Gen.G is far too powerful. Lahins and Keen making the space. FlyQuest trying to hold on, but it's not gonna work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Silver Scrapes. He's gonna throw the Mega Inferno Bomb in there.
Can they finish?
They've got the Baron down to about 5,000. FlyQuest going from an insane Hail Mary right now. King going into the pit as now the teleport's gonna come out from Chovy. Whippo is already dead. Keen's looking to take Inspired out of the picture now too, but Keen's gonna die. Inspired also drops. 2-for-1, favoring Gen.G. FlyQuest went for the crazy play, and Gen.G are ready to punish. A double kill for Chovy. Church is in session. Masu barely hanging on. Inspired back over the wall here with a Crow Storm, but it ain't gonna be enough just yet. Masu can't even find any damage. Pei stays alive. Redemption for the heal. Chovy's dominating, and Masu burns. Keen gets the kill, and Whippo will just try to get away from Lahens and Pei's. A double kill for Keen. FlyQuest is aced.
All 5 members of FlyQuest drop, and Gen.G will crush the hopes of North America.
Gen.G was pushed to the limit. They were pushed to the edge, but they were built for these situations. They were built for victory. They were built to win, and they will do just that. Whether it's 3 games, whether it's 5, it does not matter. Gen.G has a date with destiny and the semifinals.
Whatever the competition, there's no word more heartbreaking than almost, and North America knows how it tastes.
Does it feel good proving all the doubters wrong?
Yeah, I mean, that feels good, but it'd feel way better to win.
But this almost was different. FlyQuest took the best team in the world to 5 games, and no matter the heartbreak, it's hard not to see this as the start of something new, a path towards a time when the region doesn't almost win, they just do it.
I really do believe that FlyQuest showed not only the LCS, but also the LEC, what the path forward can look like. That you can challenge the best LCK and LPL teams in the world, and you can be better than them. And it can be one of those maybe watershed moments where people are looking at FlyQuest's run and what they were able to do and saying, now we need to reconsider how we were evaluating picks, how we were looking at the meta, how we were looking at how you're supposed to actually topple these giants. And my hope is that they will dictate much of how the meta is going to shift and how teams are going to prepare and play coming into next year.
All right, everyone, we hope you're enjoying the documentary so far. We wanted to give another shout out to our sponsor, Progressive Insurance, who made this entire thing possible. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Make sure you try it over at progressive.com. Now, let's see what happened next.
It would take more than a miracle to hold him off here. Bin with a handshake back into the team. He's not going to live through this one. Xiaohu throws out their soldiers, and Yagao loses Guardian Angel. Bin trying to find a little bit of damage onto the Shy, but it ain't going to be enough. Azael tries to go forward with a 90 caliber net, but it doesn't matter. It won't do a damn thing. Weibo, through all the disbelief, will earn their place in the final.
BLG have been one of the LPL's best teams for years, but their seasons have always ended in heartbreak. An unexpected loss to Weibo in the semis kept a stacked lineup from a finals that felt like destiny, but their star top laner, Bin, knew the feeling of international disappointment. His miracle run on Suning Gaming to the finals in 2020 was a breakout performance from their inexperienced top laner that cemented Bin as one of the best carry players in the world.
SOFM hops over the wall, finds himself a route to Nagri. That means he cannot interrupt anyone else. He's being chipped away, melted, he's down, he's dead! That's it, Canyon's finished as well. SOFM hops forward, Ghost flashes defensively and rooted in place. Bin sends him back in. Ghost gets caught out, that's the Quadra, looking for it. Bin will pick it up, get the pentakill for Bin and Suning Gaming in the World Championship Final!
But even the first and only ever pentakill in World's Finals history wasn't enough to overcome Damwon, and for some, Bin's lack of versatility was a mark against him. Still, years of bombastic plays domestically and internationally earned him fans around the world. People started to call him Gigabin, a new irresistible carry.
The biggest thing about Bin is like his foundation's risen, where over this year he's learned things like the Rumble as well, and I know that's not a tank, but like champions he's often and renownedly bad at, he's been working on them and building them up, and he goes back on the carries and he still has that same kind of effect.
BLG rolled into 2024 with a chip on their shoulders and something to prove. They upgraded their mid laner, bringing in Knight from a JDG roster that fell one step short of a perfect season the year before. They dominated domestically, winning spring and summer. Other than 2 losses at MSI to Gen.G, they hadn't dropped a single best of 5 all year. But at Worlds, they started with a stumble.
Has ultimate in 10 seconds. Great impale. Bin in the midst of 3, but is it going to be enough? He just cannot finish the kills. On now getting knocked back. The Nor is there, and T1 will not be denied. T1, 1-2-1. On can knock them away, but he cannot knock them out of this game. T1 take down BLG.
我觉得的话，我们队可能就是现在没有我之前想象的这么就是打那么好吧，就是可能我们还是有一些失误，很多坏习惯吧，然后很多做得不好的地方，所以我们现在能做的就是继续努力吧，然后赢下面那场BO3。
BLG scraped together a path through the Swiss stage, coming dangerously close to losing to a powerful G2 Esports roster that took them to 3 games.
BLG plays a very aggressive way, and if they have the damage to back that up, it looks absolutely wondrous and they're able to make all the plays they want. But the style they play is based on a very minute second-by-second play style that they can make work, and if you end up not having the damage to capitalize on that, it can very quickly fall apart. And I think that's what we're seeing now, is that they haven't really adapted their style to the way the meta is, and then even the champion picks that they're going for don't really facilitate what has made them such a strong team in the LPL.
Baker coming in, instant Wukong ultimate. Baker now going to follow between worlds, but there's just nowhere to go. Mako trying to find the counter engage, but it might not matter. Still in the midst of everything. Tien is so damn tanky. They weren't ready for that, and Jin might not kill towers, but he kills people pretty damn good. Quadra coming in, baby. Put it in the cannon. Jackie Love is Jin.
T1's loss to Top Esports was disappointing no matter how you sliced it, but it was also more or less what the world expected from the beleaguered squad. World's music video aside, T1 were defending champions on paper only. If they wanted to be seen as anything else, they'd have to earn it. And even after a quick win against Pain Gaming, T1 had a lot of work to do to make it to Paris. First, they triumphed over a BLG that was still looking to find their footing.
저희의 생각에서는 이제 서머 시즌보다는 충분히 잘할 수 있을 거라고 생각하고요. 그래도 아직 저희가 갈 길이 멀다고 생각합니다.
Then they knocked down Europe's best hope despite a tough fight.
All Owner needs to do is get into this pit and he might be able to snipe this away. The curtain's open. An encore for Guma Yushi. Owner gets it. He gets it! And he takes it! Owner will pay the ultimate price for his ability to steal the Baron. He keeps T1 in the game.
일단은 다시 돌아가도 할 것 같고, 근데 거기에 실패를 했을 때는 그냥 게임이 아예 끝나는 순간이고, 또 스틸을 하지 않았을 때도 불리하다고 생각해서 혼자 이제 약간 무리한 플레이이긴 했는데 다시 돌아가도 할 것 같은데 지금 생각해보면 정말 다행이라고 생각하고 있습니다.
Even though their series against G2 was 2-0, some fans still weren't sure what to make of Korea's 4th seed, but T1 were ready to conquer the bracket.
저는 뭐 지난 경기들은 이미 지난 경기라고 생각하고요. 이번 경기에서 역시 제가 할 수 있는 최선을 다하는 게 목표입니다.
What do you think about T1? Did they surprise you with the form that they've showed so far at Worlds?
No, not even a little bit. This is Worlds, this is T1. This is where they live. They love this place. And I think that we got a taste of it last year. Last year, the story wasn't T1 winning everything. Last year, the story was Gen.G winning everything, and then knockouts came around, and Gen.G were out, and T1 were the last hope.
And even as every other LCK team falls away, Baker stays standing. T1 stays standing. The last light of the LCK burns bright, and Busan is ahead to the semi-finals.
Worlds is their domain, but how much is that actually going to work when the caliber of talent at this tournament this time around is absolutely absurd?
지금까지는 그래도 TS전도 꽤나 저희가 좋은 경기를 보여줬다 생각해서 지금 만족스러움은 조금 있는 것 같고요. 그리고 저희가 썸머 때 굉장히 어려움을 많이 겪긴 했지만 그만큼 월드에 오면 자신감이 있었기 때문에 또 월드에 와서 좋은 모습을 보여드릴 수 있는 것 같고, 또 저희가 작년에 디펜딩 챔피언인 만큼 이번 연도도 저희가 사시드로 오긴 했지만 어떠한 일시드랑 붙어도 질 자신이 아직 없다고 생각하고 있기 때문에 이번에도 좋은 모습을 좀 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
T1's quarterfinal match against Top Esports was set to be their first real test of the tournament, a best of 5 against a Chinese roster that had pushed the domestically dominant BLG all year long, the same team that handed T1 their only loss of the tournament so far.
TES, can they find this one? Eyes on the ultimate of Jackie Love and 369. Daisy already falling away, however. T1 getting in just enough to bait them. Beautiful cosmic binding, follow-up, the equalizer stolen away. Owner immediately going to follow. TES peeling back, but they're running out of space to maneuver with. Now the turn back to bullet time. An equalizer of their own. Ulti coming in. Jackie Love about to fall. Carrier going over the wall. It's a little bit over eager. TES still standing. Jackie Love still standing. Double lady carry. But Baker in the clutch. The arm guard. He goes golden. He buys a moment. TN perfect timing, but it does not matter because here comes Guma, baby. Doubles coming through. T1 takeover.
Well, a lot of damage is still done to T1 though. Baron, Sheng still, Mako, he's running, but 4 members, they spotted. There the attempt to flank.
They don't have perfect information. Carrier now trying to make his way out. This charm crucially coming through, hitting 4 members. T1 is taking so much time, and Owner goes in. Owner finds Jackie. Ulti going in. Cream still stepping up. 369 taken out. Carry on the side. Slowly but surely T1 are taking the fight. Mako looks to make the difference. The Guma goes up in the air and comes right back down, dragging the hopes of TES alongside them. As again, T1 finds the fight. Faker on a rampage. Faker doing it all in the moments where it matters. Mako. Where's the hook gonna go? Baker right on top of Mako. Cream doesn't really have a recourse here. Owner looking for the knockback, but Cream the ulti just in time. Knocking it too. Jackie Love still standing. Carrier running for the hills. It's all about this 80 carry. It's all about Jackie Love. 369. No ulti. Maybe no hope. Flash back onto the ultimate from Zeus. The taunt not going to connect crucially to stun. Coming back 369. TES, Jackie Love fighting their way back in game 3. But Guma stands strong.
For TES, it was a devastating loss under the titanic pressure of pushing through Worlds as an all-Chinese roster.
I know they're also a team that has a huge amount of pressure on them, both themselves and BLG kind of being the 5 Chinese players for the LPL, have a lot of fans cheering from the LPL because they want to see them succeed. And I think for players like Tien, I wasn't sure how that was going to go. Tien has spoken quite vocally about how he's not in the best mental health states when it comes to dealing with that pressure or being able to rise to the occasion.
今天比赛从3场输掉的方式都 一样，感觉就是节奏一直在对面手上，然后我们应对的可能没有那么好，然后就会被一直滚雪球，然后就后面打团可能就要拼操作了。
But for T1, it was a statement. Far from struggling to grasp the new meta, they were powering forward with a confidence that had been missing in their play all year. Faker and his teammates were playing League of Legends like they were the best in the world. Everyone else just hadn't realized it yet.
일단 저희가 바텀 뱀픽을 준비하면서 일단 그런 쪽으로 준비를 하는 게 TS 상대로 승산이 있을 거라 생각했고, 그리고 오늘 같은 경우에도 이제 저희가 생각한 대로 뱀픽이 진행돼가지고 그렇게 제가 준비해온 대로 바드를 했던 것 같습니다.
But they had another obstacle to overcome in the semis, one they hadn't been able to surpass in years.
LCK에서 저희가 젠지한테 계속 지긴 했지만 월드에서 이제 월드나 그런 큰 무대에서는 한 번도 만난 적이 없고, 그래서 뭐 지금 만나서 이기려고 지금까지 졌나 싶기도 해서 이번에는 저희가 이기면은 되게 좋은 긍정적인 효과를 줄 것 같아가지고 모두에게, 저희 팀과 저에게 모두에게. 그래서 뭐 일주일 동안 열심히 잘 준비해야 될 것 같습니다.
Gen.G were the titans of the LCK. They won an astounding 4 back-to-back titles from 2022 to 2024. And even if HLE narrowly topped them in the summer finals, most of the scene saw Gen.G as tournament favorites. This was a team that smashed the mid-season invitational and cruised through the Swiss stage undefeated. They had a stacked lineup of superstars, crowned by the best player in the world, Chovy.
And P's able to get over the wall here as well. Chains of Corruption into the air as Chovy gets the 4 of them, and just like that, Gen.G decide they want to win a team fight. Chovy has had enough.
And even more crucially, this was a team that T1 had never been able to defeat, even at their strongest. Faker reclaimed the Summoners Cup in 2023 without ever playing his domestic rivals. Heading into the semi-finals, T1 had lost 10 consecutive series to Gen.G. Believers in the Church of Chovy expected them to make it 11 and cruise to a finals that was preordained. But it hadn't been that easy for Gen.G. The back half of the year showed fans they were mortal, and their miraculously close series against FlyQuest proved they had gaps in their play. And T1 weren't scared of Gen.G, not this time.
Barrel has been charged, doesn't do a whole lot of damage at this point. Level 2 for Zeus does have that body slam, going to use it immediately onto Canyon. Already down to 50% as Lehens is trying to tank that turret for as long as possible. One more's going to do it, but Paik almost just straight up dead. And Canyon, 2 turret just has to flash, and Zeus says not today, boys. Lehens looking for another option. He flashes the Zenith Blade. Lehens able to walk out of that one, but he's still going to have to flash as Faker comes down to make sure his top laner stays alive. Chovy, can you actually stop something from happening here? As it's going to be Ona that launches one down. Ulti from Faker finds 2. He's out of there immediately. Keen's able to try and chop them up. And there goes Ona, but they'll trade that any day of the week. They have the Baron buff as carrier, able to get the handshake beautifully. His position is amazing. As Lehens is in so much trouble, Zay's going to pick it up with a body slam, and Pace is slowed down as well. They're being separated and destroyed as T1 just danced on Gen.G. As now Lehens, he's chunked out just a little bit, but he's going to throw his life away for a good position in a team fight. Carrier on a flank angle. It is going to be Ona taking soul point, but can they win the fight? That's a phenomenal ultimate from Keen, and Pace is untouched. Still, Carrier explodes, pops like a balloon. Zeus has the counter-strike, but he has no friends. Faker dives in to try and save him. The flash on Chovy, and it's a double kill. Pace now standing his ground. Gumayusi can't do anything, and Gen.G will haste them with Baron up and available.
After a critical team fight from Gen.G, Game 4 of the series was dead even, but then, desperate to make a play, Gen.G forced a pick onto Faker in a spot he was very familiar with.
Nature's Grasp going to cut out the arrow, connecting on Donor. Chains of Corruption just try and buy some space with the flash. Onto Faker, the knock-up, and he's dead.
The same spot where Faker lost finals in 2017. The same spot where his dynasty crumbled. Last year, in a critical semi-finals against the best team in the world, Faker put all the pressure, all his teammates' dreams on his back and made magic happen. This time, his teammates were ready to make magic of their own.
His arrows follow him into the death chamber as the impale is decent. Ona's still alive, he's so tanky, and it's going to be Yushi taking matters into his own hands. The spears go wide and the coffee goes down. It's a double kill for the Skarner, and Chovy's still alive. There's a bit of damage, but he gets over the wall, flashes, but the bone skewer finds him. The shutdown for Goomer at T1. They want to go to London.
Their power at Worlds defied analysis or reason. T1 at Worlds were simply built different.
If you're looking at it analytically, there have been so many years where you're saying, well, this is the year that T1's gonna bomb out. They just don't look that good. But then they go to Worlds, they've never once lost more than one game in group stage or Swiss stage, and they have never once failed to advance to at least the semifinals. And when it happens that many times, there really is something to it. It's not just superstition, it's not just, this like fake stat. I really do believe there is a bit of that aura to T1 where the players buy into their own success, they play better, they play more confidently as a result because it's happened so many times.
And there was only one thing standing between Faker and a 5th title, between T1 and history, a team that was finally reaching their full potential.
There's the Paranoia to dive in. They should be able to take down Elk. There it goes. The Magnustorm is going to come through as well. As there's the Cyclone. Shun trying to turn this one around is on. He's not going to be able to help out. Still, Viper is dead. And the teleport from Gigabin into that backline. Second, nowhere to go.
By quarterfinals, Bin and his teammates were feeling themselves. China's best team and strongest top laner had an undeniable aura. HLE didn't go down without a fight, but no one expected Korea's #1 seed to roll over, and like many of the teams finding success at Worlds, BLG did it by playing their own style. And more than that, BLG's superstar mid laner, Knight, was having a career-defining tournament. The so-called golden left hand of the LPL was determined to prove that he could win on the game's biggest stages.
I think Knight has finally gotten past that point where it's like on an international stage, you're like flipping in the air, like that Chovy effect of the past, where now it's like, I actually know Knight's going to perform well.
Their win earned them a chance for revenge. BLG versus Weibo Gaming for a spot at finals again.
Bin has made his way back into the fight. Stuns up Xiaohu. The counter-strike is there. Fate Seal to try to get away, but no! Elk snipes him down. Bin's going to keep on looking for even more as Shun goes in for a nice impale. Now Owen's going to be killed off as well. Crisp drops. Now the nice pick coming out from BLG. Huge kill onto Tarzan as Knight's now got to try to escape. Xiaohu snaps back, but is it going to be enough? The bailout might just get him out of danger. Elk's going to be killed off. Xiaohu lives, and immediately Weibo are fighting right back. Crisp drop. Knight kills him, but Bin has to go golden to barely stay alive. Knight needs a little bit more damage. Pop Blossom to lock up the enemy top laner. A double kill of the Knight, and Smolder has scaled. Xiaohu trying to get away from Bin's Jax. He's already used the Soul Unbound. Knight's ready and waiting. The storm strikes, but now the rest of Weibo's coming around to try to pick off Elk and Shun. A nice two-man impale comes through, and into the backline goes Knight again. He's already found light. It's lights out for Weibo. It is an ace for BLG.
It was definitive. It was brutal. BLG answered every question the world could throw at them. They were finally living up to their meteoric potential, and they were out for blood.
觉得我们一开始有些挣扎，只是因为我们状态没有那么好，我们只是找回了自己，我们就进入了决赛。我觉得我们实力就是冠军的水平，所以明天我们只需要发挥我们正常的实力，我们就可以拿下冠军。
네, 이번에 결승전에서 나이트 선수를 만나게 되는데 나이트 선수랑 국제전에서 여러 번 붙어봤고 또 몇 번 패배하기도 했는데요. 이번 경기에서 열심히 준비하는 게 최선인 것 같고요. 열심히 준비한다면 결과가 따라올 거라고 생각하고 남은 기간 동안 최대한 잘 해보겠습니다.
As two of the strongest international teams in the world, BLG and T1 were no strangers to each other. They'd played 5 series and a best of 1 since MSI 2023, and although the combined game score was relatively close, BLG had never lost a T1 in a best of 5. But this year, history didn't matter. The past would remain in the past. Faker was looking forward.
I think when you talk about, what it means for T1 to actually win here, it's the start of a new dynasty. And if they were to do it again, especially after the summer, I just think that mythos is unrivaled. It's insane.
There was something in the air in the O2. Analysis be damned. Matchups were irrelevant. It felt like T1 could not be denied.
They've just got this clutch factor that they always appear at the right time. And I know you can't answer it because T1 are just this roster is unbelievable.
But BLG were chasing their own destiny. And early in the series, they were ready to seize it.
Elk and on, looking for Gumayushi. Knight coming in from the side as well. Will land the abscond, abduct. Gumayushi still holding on to that flash down, locks him up, he flashes the ignite, ticking, and BLG strike first.
Bro, they have onto the biggest stage with the entire world watching. They get the double
knock-up already. Carry is down to half HP. He's gonna have to flash. Gumayushi cleanses away from Knight. The chase continues. BLG flashing forward. The heal coming out. Gumayushi now slowed by the Ash, and you can't escape the quiver of Elk. First blood again to BLG. It's Knight who's locked down. The rest of BLG are trying to get into it. TP coming out as well. The hostile takeover used. Immediately locks up Bin, but look at the damage. There just is none. And now Sheng is here to join the battle. Zeus tries to jump on top of him. Knight falling low. He gets the taunt though, and Bin's already on a rampage. Oda has to dash away. Guma didn't even get an opportunity to join the fray. And On doesn't want to give him an opportunity to leave. BLG 5-4, and Bammon is on the menu.
After 3 lopsided, snowbally games, T1's backs were against the wall. T1 had been tested all year, but somehow this felt different. BLG were a different opponent, a different class of team. The greatest mechanical players in the world were skill-checking Faker and his teammates. 1 game away from the Summoners Cup, BLG prepared a dangerous trap. They drafted a perfect comp for Silas to counter, baiting Faker into the highly contested pick, but he saw it coming.
스모더 쪽인 것 같은데 얘네? 나를 죽스 스모더면 빡셀려나? 스모더 위에서 나오면 되게 괜찮지 않나? 근데 이번 판은 사이도 괜찮아 보여. 상대가 갈리오가 맛이 없어서. 그래.
Still, if T1 couldn't claim a convincing lead, Knight's hyper-scaling Smolder pick would run them over. Game 4 was a race against time.
BLG trying to defend. Glacial Prism hits onto On. The arrow also connects. Bin dashes in. The Nar back. The hostile takeover makes Sheng go berserk underneath the tower. And he pops the locket, but he will go pop burst. BLG starting to turn this one on T1's heads. They found 2. Carrier has no flash, but Knight has 1 to chase. Carrier escaping on 100 HP, but On will not give him that luxury. Take a look for that flank. Will seal away the quickness from On. Gets the charm, flashes in, binds 2. Equalizer in the back line as well. As Faker is not of this earth. He finds the engage. He finds everything T1 were looking for.
1 game left between each team and history. 1 last chance. But Faker knows what it means to seize his destiny. He's done it for more than a decade, and in the final game, he was ready.
Pressure on you, Shattering Strike going wide. Sheng tries to dash across the wall, but immediately he's locked up, goes in with the Cataclysm. Gumayushi pops the Feather Storm. Owner looking for the re-engage onto On. Sheng down to half HP. Bin gets onto the back line. Gumayushi cleanses away, but Bin has already put him in the dirt. Kevy is next up. BLG find 2. T1 able to back away for the moment, but the TP behind by Bin as he looks for a little bit more. Oh, they go back in. Faker flashes in, and down goes Knight. Once again, when you need someone, when you need anyone to stand up and show just what this game's all about, it's Faker. He finds another. Man's caught out, killer instinct in by Elk. BLG collapsing. 4 members strong. The heroes entrance. Oh, Faker joins the fight. Elk with the stopwatch. Faker in the middle of them all, and it seems like death may have arrived. And his name is Faker. He's here for your lives. The rest of T1 begins to collapse. Faker's gonna fall as he pops the stopwatch, manages to buy himself a second. Owner here to save his mid laner once again, and Faker still stands. He has ascended. He stands above it all, and he looks hungrily at that trophy. Knight goes in with the Spirit Rush, lands the charm as well. The first Nexus Tower's fallen, and T1 are just looking for the prize. They're hungry for it. T1 are the past, the present, and the future. A new era, the same empire. T1 are your 2024 World Champions.
When it comes to Faker, every year we think there's nothing more to say, and every year he proves us wrong.
From the outside looking in, this is a player who is, every year we say, maybe coming towards the end of his career.
I've stopped. I assume he's just going to play forever.
Faker is League of Legends. He's the first one in the Hall of Fame. Faker is also still playing at the top of his game. What is it, 10 years later now? 11? It's telling you that, like, this man, you live and die by him.
Faker pushes the very boundaries of the possible, and then he does it again. There will never be another player like him. And now, after 11 years of dominance and magic, we still may not have seen his best.